Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe and help me get to my goal of 10,000 subscribers. In our first story, a Choosing Beggar coworker treats his friend like a car service. Let's jump right in. This took place a couple years ago, but to this day makes me laugh and shake my head at the audacity of some people. Some info for context. This was an interaction that took place between myself, 30s female, mom of 2 young children, and my coworker, 20-year-old male living with and supported by his mom. We worked for an event center. I bartended and he served and bussed. He lived one city over from me, and I was his only coworker who lived anywhere near him, and he didn't have a car, so I often gave him rides. The first time I did, he gave me $20 for gas, and then never did again. We made decent money, but he was constantly asking other coworkers to loan him money because he was always broke. Probably because, this is not an exaggeration, he was getting a new tattoo every other week. One night after a particularly long Christmas party, I was driving him home. A couple times after work, we had stopped at a 24-hour diner for a bite, and he asked if we could go there that night. I said no because it was 4 a.m. on a weeknight and I had to be up in 3 hours to get my kids ready for school. I told him I'd be happy to take him through a drive-thru though. I don't eat fast food, that stuff is crap. The diner he wanted to go to served food that was definitely on par with fast food. Okay, sorry. Can you just take me to a grocery store? Sure. I'll just drop you at the door and wait for you in the parking lot. Call me when you're done and I'll pull up to the door for you. We pull up to the grocery store and I stop to let him out. I don't like the vibe here. Can you take me to this grocery store 10 minutes away in the town I lived in, totally opposite direction of his house, so I would be adding at least 35 minutes to the time until I would get home? No, I'm sorry, but I'm really tired and I need to get home. Fine, just take me home then. He proceeded to sulk and act like a total baby the rest of the drive home. Never even said thank you, and definitely didn't give me any gas money. Lovely. In story 2, the best thing about a Choosing Beggar boyfriend is you get to be his ATM. I'm a 30-year-old disabled female, incomplete quadriplegic, in a wheelchair, and this happened about 2 years ago. I met a guy on Tinder who we'll call Randy. We met for the first time for coffee and everything went well. He was kind, funny, generous, and we seemed to get along well, so we continued to see each other for a few weeks. Within those first few weeks, everything seemed to be going well. He was a smoker, and although I'm not a smoker, I smoked years before this, but quit, him smoking wasn't a deal breaker for me. I'd mentioned once in a conversation with Randy that I'd never lend money to someone who smokes or drinks or does drugs. In my mind, if their priorities were on those things and not food and bills, then it's not my problem. I'd been manipulated for money in the past, so I'm a lot more aware than I was before that it happened. Not long after this, he started asking to borrow money, but was vague about what it was for or would come up with weird reasons why he needed money. Some of these didn't even make sense. Can I borrow $10? I need to get underwear. All of mine are drying on the line and I don't have a dryer. My mate took my wallet yesterday and lost the $20 that was inside. Do you think I can borrow money? I'll give it back on payday. How much you got in your purse? I need to go to town and get some stuff. Do you have a spare tenner? My mom took the car out this morning. How about you lend me a lobster and I'll get it for you and bring you the change? The requests kept getting weirder, and he would occasionally repeat the same request multiple times, forgetting he'd already asked me that. My answers were always sorry, I got no money on me, and if he'd asked me to get cash out, I just changed the subject. He never got a cent off me, and that relationship didn't last long. Story 3, Freelancer versus Choosing Beggar. So I recently downloaded the Upwork app to reach out to clients for some freelancing work. If you don't know what Upwork is, it's a freelance website. If you have any talents or skills in media creation, I highly recommend it. To give you more detail for what I want to do, just for the sake of the story, I'm a game developer, and I'm seeking my very first paid client. I'm attending college and have 6 years experience, plus a portfolio to show for my work and experiences in the past. So it's been driving me absolutely nuts, and I'm anxious mess that I'm not making some kind of income on this. It's also a huge factor that the retail jobs I've been working have been destroying my mental health, and I need to work remotely before it starts to get worse. My way of taking care of myself. I am also a strong and firm believer that art should never be free. I am super new to reaching out to find clients, and honestly, I was totally willing to take whatever rate anybody threw at me, because we all gotta start somewhere, and I felt if I were to refuse an offer, even if low, that I would never find a client. So I reached out to a handful of clients, as Upwork recommended I do. I stumbled across this individual's ad and honestly felt a connection to the project immediately due to my own personal project experiences, so naturally I messaged them. They were offering $100 per week, which if I worked 40 hours a week, that would be a measly $250 an hour. This was a project that would require heavy focus and a lot of hours if any progress were to be made. I consulted a friend in the field that has more knowledge on rates for intermediate beginners, let's call him L, with experience like me. I asked L if something around $18 to $20 an hour sounds fair, and L agreed that that's a good rate to start, and once I graduate college that I could go higher on rates. So me even suggesting taking this offer was painful to begin with, cause I know I'm worth more than $250 an hour. For a little more background on game developer rates, a professional with a degree in the field can make from $39 to $60 per hour or possibly even higher. I messaged him my cover letter, of course, as well as personal info regarding the project and that my rate wasn't set in stone and that I was willing to adjust for the sake of their budget, pretty much that I'd take any offer but that the app made me put in some number in the field of rate. The picture attached is how he responded. Hey, I doubt we're a good fit. I was looking for low-rate devs, like someone that can work for me for $100 a week. I'd start with a simple concept of a hack-and-slash RPG with a custom story and branch out from there. I have reach with advertising and marketing and potential to get a Patreon going. I mentioned in the last question of the proposal that I could adjust my rate based on your budget. Considering my years of experience, and if I were to work 40 hours a week at $100 as a fixed rate, that's only $250 an hour, man. I don't know how much lower I could get without shaming myself. I'm sorry you feel we're not a good fit. I hope you can find someone that will work for you for that low of a rate. I tried my best to be polite with the refusal and understanding, but also bold and informative as well as professional. I wanted to make it clear that I knew I was worth more than $250 an hour and still willing to take the offer, so in this situation I kind of just edged at a little more your loss kind of vibe. So I was already aware that this person gave off the Choosing Beggar vibe, but I still wanted to at least offer to help, still scratching my head as to why they refused. Maybe I wasn't clear with my communication, but hey, their loss, right? In our final story, your apartment is a dump, but I'll take it. For free. I had been trying to find a tenant for a little 700 square foot Adobe casita in a low-income neighborhood. We'd bought it several years before and invested sweat equity to make it habitable. Now we rent it out. It's nothing fancy, but it's clean, safe, had new appliances, and everything works. I guess because of all the fire-ups and down the West Coast, people have been leaving and trying to take refuge, and housing here in Arizona is at a high demand. Once I put up the listing, within an hour I'd gotten over 200 inquiries. This was going to take a while. I go down the list asking people to drive by first to make sure the place and the area is right for them. It's a bit of a rough neighborhood by some standards. So candidate number 8 tells me, "Oh yeah, I went by. It's great. I love it." So I send an application. Then he says, "Oh, now I actually went by and that place is a dump. It reeks of mold." Lie. I just paid 2 women to scour it top to bottom. It was spotless, and it's never had mold. I ask if he got the address right. As a matter of fact, the guy goes on, "That place is a health hazard. I think I'm gonna report you to the city. Report you to the police, report you to Landlords of America." unless you let me live there for free. If I can live there rent-free, I won't report you. I decline. Then he tells me he's going to report me unless I meet him at the rental in 1 hour, let him move in that night, and provide him with sex. Blocked. Changed my profile pic to a neutral scene instead of my face, rented to a woman and her kid. Those Facebook Marketplace people can be abusive. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.